In this video, I am Carl from the moon, and I'm sitting here with Crypto Kid. Guys, last time Crypto Kid was on the channel, many people said that you are a genius, a young genius. You are the youngest crypto trader that I've ever met. And people said that I need to bring you on the channel again. So, Crypto Kid, here you are. How are you doing today?
Man, I'm doing awesome. It's super cold here. I actually just traveled for the new year, spending time with the family. I hope all of you guys do as well. Just take a break from crypto, but doing awesome, man. Just dropped a video, by the way, full 2023 predictions for crypto. So we're gonna give a little bit of information here, but make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. That would be awesome. And check that video out as well. But yeah, I'm doing awesome, man.
Exactly. So let's dive into 2023 because 2022 started bullish.
Yeah.
We were very high. Bitcoin was high, crypto was high. Everyone was happy and dancing and singing Kumbaya together. That was amazing. That was good times. But the times have changed, and we are right now in a very, very bearish period for over 6 to 12 months, depending on how you measure or how you define the bear market. But let's say 6 months of a cold bear market. So everyone wants to know right now, what is going to happen in 2023, Crypto Kid?
Look, I mean, again, nothing that I say is financial advice at all. It's just fully my opinion on things, on the outlook of the entire economy and what we've seen so far this year and the past few years. But I want to kick off things with this, right? So, of course, geopolitically, the world is not in a good place. And, the inflation is going over the top in so many countries like Turkey, Argentina. You see Brazil. Like, so many countries are defaulting their currencies because their currencies are just going over the top in inflation. And the people of these countries, their purchasing power has gone to zero. They can't afford normal lifestyles, and this is becoming more common everywhere across the world. So I think, when this happens, right, and when you're in a very recessionary environment, so currently I think we're post-recession, we're pre-recession, sorry. We haven't hit major recession yet, so I think that's going to happen in the first few quarters of the next year. But when everyone's purchasing power comes down, and when we're in this recession environment, retail traders like us do not, in a high percentage, they don't go into risky assets such as Bitcoin and other risky assets because they save money for the things they need. They need food, they need shelter, they need stuff to survive. And people don't tend to invest in this time because everything is just so over the top expensive. They don't have money left to invest. And this goes for institutions as well, because institutions in recession, they don't also tend to invest in risky assets such as Bitcoin. However, this will...
One question, Crypto Kid. So basically, I agree with you because crypto is right now seen as an investment, a speculative investment, including Bitcoin. And I think that I agree with you that in the immediate short term, in the beginning of a recession, people think, like you just said right now, that if they want to buy food and shelter, they're not going to bother with Bitcoin, right? But what about the people that see Bitcoin as an exit strategy, as an escape plan to hide their wealth or to protect their wealth from freezing bank accounts or, because we know that Bitcoin is the best form of storing wealth without having third-party risk. It's only the price volatility. So when do you think that's going to change? Because you talked about defaulting currencies and so when you have a monetary crisis, then I would suggest Bitcoin would be the best alternative, right? So when do you think that immediate fear changes into a FOMO for Bitcoin because you're protecting your wealth?
See, I talked about this very nicely in my video as well, but I'll talk about some of it here too. I mentioned something very interesting. So, of course, geopolitically, the difficulty there, they cause mass transfer of wealth to Bitcoin and crypto, and that's how people transfer their wealth outside of their countries because, their currency, their bank accounts were frozen, etc. That's one thing, right? And as currencies begin to default and they become worthless, countries also now have a lack of reserves of dollars. And multinational companies, when they trade with these countries, when they provide goods and services in countries, they trade using US dollars. They don't trade using that country's currency, which is incredibly volatile. Multinationals don't want to risk their capital in inflationary currencies. And these countries, they have very short dollar supplies. Therefore, you can't trade with dollars across countries. And this is a super big problem for multinationals. And what they're looking at is they're trying to use Bitcoin as a way to sell their goods and services in these hyperinflationary countries such as Myanmar, Ethiopia, Turkey, and then bring them back to their own country. So this structure is being built right now. And I think Casta is doing something similar to this, right? So the thing is, right, there's the taxation is a very big problem right now. You can't really tax these transfers and exchange in crypto. So I think next year there's going to be a super big push in regulation and trying to tax these environments, these transactions. I think institutions are going to put a big pressure on this, because if this happens, there's going to be crazy adoption into Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Everyone will want to trade using crypto instead of using a hyperinflationary currency like I think it's the Brazilian pesos, the Turkish lira. They'll use Bitcoin, and because they can't use the dollars, which is also not available in the country. So I think this will push super big adoption. This could bring trillions of dollars into crypto. Also, regulation will come, meaning that stuff like FTX won't happen again, and it will be super limited, right? So I think in the US, there's going to be huge regulation, but this is going to be very good for the long term. So I think in the next couple of years, Bitcoin and crypto, they are going to grow massively in adoption. So that's what I would say for that.
I agree with you. Now, everyone wants to know about your price prediction, because based on what we've said now, the question is, at the end of next year, where do you think Bitcoin could go if everything we're talking about falls into place? Bitcoin, Ethereum, and maybe some other trends you're looking into, like where can people, make the most money next year?
I did a full video on this on my channel as well, TA targets for next year potentially, but so what price will go down, in my opinion, right? Not financial advice, but I think price will go down heavily in the first couple of months of next year. Q1, Q2, we'll see a massive drawdown to potentially 12K, 10K, 8K even. But this will be phenomenal buy zones for retail people who have money to spare, because institutions are not in play. And when things are back on track, when inflation reduces, when interest rates are back at normal places, then institutions now can diversify into risky assets. And that's when they will potentially come back into crypto. And especially if what we talked about happens, then they will go in heavily. So when that happens, then Bitcoin can go back in a massive bull run, I believe, even bigger than the one we had, last year. So I think this time, the next couple of months, will be incredible buy zones for people with money to spare, and this will make you future millionaires or billionaires, etc. So that's what I think. But in the very short term, we can come down quite a bit.
Okay, so you made a video about the technical analysis for the next year. I think people should watch that on your channel. I also made a video on my channel like a couple of weeks ago called My Realistic Prediction for Bitcoin for like 2024, which basically shows the whole 2023. I will leave that one as well down below, because I think that also is a good overview of what I think, like the big picture. Sometimes it's good to just take a huge step back and take a look at the technical analysis on the weekly and monthly time frame, because if you look at the daily, you kind of get lost in the short-term volatility. So those are two good videos, guys, that you should go and watch right now if you think 2023 is going to be the year for you to make investments. I think it's very important to take a look at the bigger picture. So those are two videos that will help you for sure. Now, I think that's 2023. What about trends? Like, I think crypto gaming obviously is the next big trend. The question is, when are people gonna like start hyping about it? So tell me about the trends for 23.
I think personally, I think DeFi will be the biggest trend of next year, alongside consumer blockchain and the metaverse. I'm going to talk about DeFi right now. I talked about the metaverse and the consumer blockchain and how that's going to push crazy adoption in my video. But DeFi, I think, will be massive because we're seeing a lot of exchanges, right? During this bear market, their reserves, are pretty low in terms of most of their reserves, like Binance and BUSD and BNB, the tokens that they have themselves. So, and there's also a lot of trust issues with exchanges, centralized exchanges, especially after FTX as well. And I think the push from regulation is going to restrict so many stuff that you can do within exchanges. So I think DeFi will absolutely explode next year. So I think DeFi is going to have a massive push. I've been hearing from industry leaders that they want to quit and start and make their own DeFi projects. So I think DeFi will have a massive, massive push. Also gaming as well. When people realize that, they spend hours and hours playing a game, and when better games come out, like Medieval Empires is a good example as well, and there's tons of other games. When these type of games that are fun to play come out and people realize that they can put the same amount of time in and actually make money as well at the same time, then crypto gaming will also push phenomenally. And this knowledge of blockchain and how blockchain works within blockchain games will also increase awareness about the blockchain and Bitcoin, and hence grow adoption as well even more.
Yeah, speaking of medieval empires, you are actually an investor. Maybe you can tell the audience why did you invest in medieval empires?
I invested in medieval empires because I think they have a huge target audience. The show, they're not based off the show, they're based off the history of Ertugrul, which happens to have a show. And this show was streamed over like so many, like 3 billion, something like that. But they broke 9 billion times.
It's bigger than Game of Thrones, yeah.
It's huge, and it's super, super popular in the Asia region. Like people, Ertugrul Engin Altan, who's also a co-founder, like people like literally admire this guy so much that it's incredible. And I've spoken to so many people that love it. Turkish people love it as well. And making a game based off of this history is super, super smart in my opinion. And that's personally why I invested. I think you have a huge target audience, and the game itself is, I think, well designed as well, and it's up to standard compared to other blockchain games. So that's personally why I invested in it. But yeah, that's what I see for Medieval Empires.
Yeah, guys, there is a YouTube channel, Medieval Empires. You can check the links down below for that as well. But yeah, Crypto Kid, thank you for being on the channel. I think this was a great overview. And again, the video on your channel, very important. I will leave the link down below. My video as well, I think it's very important to watch. And of course, the Medieval Empires YouTube channel. And if people want to buy the ME token, the Medieval Empires token, link to Bybit down below, because on Bybit it's listed actually, which is incredible.
And you can get rewards, right? I believe on Bybit.
Exactly. If you stake ME tokens on Bybit, you get 12% annual interest rates. Passive income.
Yeah, for sure. Especially if you
bad.
Project long term as well. So I think it could be a good option.
Exactly. Leading into the bull market, I think just holding and staking different tokens and I mean Bitcoin, it's going to be the best way. Try to not spend it, just hold it, stake it, leave it, just hold your head high and just like wait for the bull market, because in the bull market everything will go absolutely astronomical. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe right now to both our channels, obviously, and leave a thumbs up. Let's see if we can reach 1.5 thousand likes. Wow, I think that would be amazing.
That would be crazy.
It's possible. Yeah. And I will leave a link or a video in the middle here or somewhere, which is the video that Crypto Kid made about, because I think it's a good video. Thank you so much, Crypto Kid. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Carl. See you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.